Hello, friends. The 699th days of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. After the Russians captured the fortified area of the Ukrainian armed forces, Tsar's Hunt, in the southeast of Avdiivka, the Russian army entered the city itself. Telegram channels publish footage of the movement of Russian military personnel along Sportivna, Soborna, and Chernyshevskoho streets on the southern outskirts of the city. The footage, identified by the American Institute for the Study of War, shows Russian troops advancing in the area of the Tsar's Hunt restaurant and along Soborna Street. At the same time, the Ukrainian military observer Mashovitz stated that Russian troops were advancing in Avdiivka along Kolosova and Lermontova streets. Russian telegram channels write about powerful counterattacks by the Ukrainian armed forces in the south of Avdiivka in order to recapture lost positions, but claim that the Russian army held its positions. Ukraine did not comment on this. Russian military telegram channels suggest that in the future their army in Avdiivka will try to capture the ninth quarter sector of high-rise buildings from which the entire city is under fire. It's about a kilometer away. But the Ukrainian armed forces will likely continue to counterattack, trying to drive the enemy out of the city. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian telegram channel Deep State writes that strange events continue in the southern outskirts of Avdiivka, where the fate of the next months of the Avdiivka defense operation is being decided. Many actions of the Russians defy logical explanation. Because a number of strange things are happening, it seems that the enemy himself does not understand what he wants to do. The enemy did not capture the former location of the Donetsk anti-aircraft missile regiment Zenit, so for now you can be on that flank calm. Now it is important that Russians are not allowed to gain a foothold in the private sector, reports the Ukrainian telegram channel. I don't know what Deep State means by strange events, but in my opinion, the Russians did not attack Zenit, but are trying to get around it from the rear. By the way, this position greatly prevents the Russians from advancing in the direction of Opatny, ninth quarter. Apparently, the enemy is trying to cut the T5-5 road, which is used to provide support for Zenit to the north of it, and thus force the Ukrainian army to leave this position. In the Maryanka sector, according to Ukrainian telegram channels, today the enemy was unable to advance. The Russians were stopped in the north and south in the Georgievka area. The enemy was also stopped in the Pobieda area and in the Novomikhaivka area. In the Kupiansk sector of the Kharkiv direction, according to both Western and Ukrainian experts, Russian troops continue assault operations in the direction of Tabaivka and Berestove. Meanwhile, the shortage of ammunition in Ukraine is becoming increasingly acute, CNN reports. The channel's correspondent visited positions near Avdiivka and Bakhmut. According to him, the difference between Russian and Ukrainian artillery supplies is 10-1. At the position near Bakhmut, the crew of the American M109 howitzer that we visited were given only smoke ammunition, said the TV channel correspondent. The Ukrainian artilleryman admitted that the military cannot 100% complete the tasks assigned to them until they receive the necessary ammunition. The journalist waited with the soldiers for their delivery, but when they finally arrived, it turned out that they were only 4 smoke munitions. These shells hardly explode on impact. It's almost like firing a cannon in medieval times. There is a feeling of frustration at the 93-1 OMB headquarters. They see the Russians from drones, but they can't do anything. But there is also positive news. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said at a briefing in Brussels that the alliance will additionally purchase artillery shells worth more than $1 billion, which will allow it to continue supporting Ukraine. Increasing ammunition production is a must if we want to continue to support Ukraine. We have just signed contracts for more than $1.2 billion to purchase hundreds of thousands of 155mm ammunition, he said.
Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.